Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're looking at Avengers by Jonathan Hickman, the complete collection, volume 5. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent Cassina, and today we're taking a look at the final complete collection of Avengers by Jonathan Hickman. This is it, folks. Volume 5. This is a massive, hefty beast of a book, and here it is, finally. So, if you don't know, this is Volume 5. We had Volume 4 last year, which was also pretty hefty. Volume 3, which is basically a reprint of the Infinity trade paperback that's been released previously. Then you had Volume 2, which was a little bit smaller, and Volume 1, right? So all four of these volumes, and this fifth one lead into Secret Wars. So if you're wondering about the new movie, Secret Wars, it all starts with Avengers by Jonathan Hickman. And I think you could probably find most of these pretty easily online, or maybe you're a good local comic book shop. You know, some of them are better than others. But this one came out today, so let's open it up and take a look at it. This storyline, this collects, I got this on Amazon, it collects New Avengers 35 through 44 and New Avengers 24 to 33. So pretty much like, I don't know, 22 issues. It's massive. And the thing with all these other books by Hickman, again, this looks a little beat up because I got it from Amazon, is that he does everything by chapter order. And here's all the credits for everybody who did every issue. However, when you read it, you're not going to read it in that order. There's a little previously page, 8 months later. This contains the time runs out storyline. I think this was previously collected in 4 trade paperbacks, so that gives you an idea of how much is in here. And I do remember reading this, like, when they made a big deal out of Jim Chung doing an issue of Avengers, and that happens right here. This was like the first page of that issue, but I feel like it was that way anyway. But they made a big deal about Jim Chung starting off this new era of Avengers, and this is that issue, and then it ends. I think that's probably the last page. But when you're reading it, like when you switch from issue to issue, so this may be Avengers, and this is New Avengers because you're talking about the Illuminati and the Cabal at this point. You're not getting a chapter break. You're not getting, oh, this is Avengers 43 or New Avengers 25 or 26 or whatever. It's just one complete long storyline, right? So there's no real delineation between chapters or issues until you get to pages like this, where it says, you know, you get the white pages where this is the new, basically the beginning of like a new arc or something like that, or a new bunch of issues. So I was reading it month to month, I was reading Avengers and New Avengers, right, as they came out. And then only to find out that, hey, some of these take place at different times, and maybe you should read half an issue of Avengers and half an issue of New Avengers before you go back and finish that issue of Avengers that you're reading in the first place. So all that is laid out here in these trades the way Hickman intended it to read, one in the other. It's less so, I think, with Time Runs Out with this storyline, because these two storylines kind of converge towards the end, where it's a battle between the two Avengers teams. And it basically ends and culminates with Doctor Doom and these other aliens, these guys figuring out these aliens that are behind the convergence stuff that's going on in Secret Wars that they stop. And then, kind of these two-head teams of Captain America on the Avengers team and Iron Man on the New Avengers team, the Illuminati, so to speak, going up against each other. The Axis event happens in the middle of here, and that's why you have Superior Iron Man over here. But for all intents and purposes, he's still Tony Stark. This is the covers back here. But, this is the final battle, basically, between Cap and Tony and Steve. It's really, really cool. You basically got Old Man Cap, because he was depowered at the time, I believe. or like super soldierized. Can't remember exactly what was going on with him, but you still have like Falcon Cap going on. Rick Remender's run, I think, was happening at this time. So you have Cap going in some armor going up against Tony, and then you have the finale that says to be continued in Secret Wars. So then you would end this trade and go to the Secret Wars storyline. And since this is the final volume of New Avengers by Jonathan Hickman, here's Molecule Man and Doom. They play a big part in Secret Wars, so that's all set up here. This is basically the prelude to Secret Wars. So I would say if you can read Secret Wars and understand it, but if you really want to understand it, you need to read Hickman's run because it's a phenomenal book. So in the back here, they have all the covers. Basically, Avengers 35 by Jim Cheung. So like I said, this is the one they made a big deal out of, that Jim Cheung's doing an issue of Avengers, and then New Avengers. So the weird part about these covers is they're all by different artists. Jamie McKelvey, there's not a consistent cover artist for any book. Del Keown, Gabriel Delgado, Alan Davis doing this one. And then you have some variants at the back here. Stefano Caselli. Here's some variants, some Deadpool variants, stuff like that. So it's an amazing run, and now that it's finally complete, can't wait to read. Start at Volume 1, end at Volume 5, and move into Secret Wars. This entire massive epic is now complete in trade paperback. Yes, of course, they are omnibuses and oversized hardcovers and all that nonsense, but if you're just a regular comic book reader and you want to get the most easily accessible version of this is it. These complete collections. These started coming out 2 years ago. I don't think they're that hard to find. I've been picking them up as they came out, but again, Volume 5 just came out, and I wouldn't be surprised if you started seeing these pop up in, different stores and things like that. Definitely seek out Secret Wars. Now that we've had the Marvel announcement of the movie of Avengers Secret Wars coming out at the end of 2025 to close out Phase 6, all bets are on some sort of version of Secret Wars, right? Whether it's Battle World from the original one or the multiple Earths and the incursions from this one. I feel like it's going to be incursions because they did mention it in the Multiverse of Madness film with Reed Richards talking about incursions and them ending worlds and beating Thanos and stuff like that. So I feel like this is going to be important. This version of Secret Wars, maybe they'll combine both of them. I'm not sure. We will find out in a couple of years. But if anything, you do need to read Hickman's Avengers run, because if it's just a phenomenal Avengers run, and it really is one big long story, even though it doesn't feel like it when you're first starting to read it because you're reading two different ones. But they do converge here, definitely in this volume, in Volume 5. And it's a massive book. So this retails for $45. Woo! $45. But I'm telling you, you're getting 20 issues here in a great story. I think Time Runs Out. I was enjoying reading them when they first came out, but once we got to Time Runs Out, this storyline that's contained in this book, where the two plot lines converge and you have the teams going up against each other, and things really start moving, and you really see the seeds for Secret Wars being laid out. Man, this book got fantastic. So can't wait to reread all this for the second time, and I'm looking forward to doing reviews on it coming up in the channel probably through the end of the year. We will be diving into Hickman's Avengers once I finish the Fantastic Four run that I'm reading of his now, because that kind of sets up the Doom and Reed stuff that's followed on in here and then ends in Secret Wars. So there you have it. There's our Marvel reading plans for the next 6 months, basically. And we will see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.